Coach, first week of the season, you've released a depth chart. Talk about your depth chart and how you guys went about evaluating your talent for the depth chart.
You know, it's just a depth chart is just where you start, and it's going to change week to week, and the guys know that every day they got to come out to practice and compete. And there's competition at every position. Obviously, I know there's one position in particular that's probably got the most focal point, but it's been great competition, and you let the guys go practice. You put them in tough situations, and then you evaluate everything that they do. And each coach has their own metric for how they evaluate their positions, and it's tallied up daily. We have discussions about it, and then we set a depth chart and let the guys go play. We'll reevaluate it after the game to see if we need to make some change.
How hard was it getting to that decision on the position? You mentioned the quarterback position, and when the conversation was done in the room, I mean, from that point to figuring out that was going to be the guy.
You know, those guys went in battle, and you know, Kelly knew what was at stake. He responded the right way, and obviously earned the position that he's in right now. And obviously Trevor made it tough on him. Chase made it tough on him. So the conversation there is you just go back to what you see every day on film, and then you have discussions about, are they ready to manage the system, and all those guys prove that they are, and you just got to start somewhere. And so we're excited to see that if they can transition what they've shown in practice to the game situations.
Coach Sweeney said after one of the scrimmages he thought that this could be the best running back unit in the country. Are you as excited about him, and is this the best group that you've had?
You know, I kind of looked at him when he put that kind of pressure on me, but I think from an experience standpoint, we got three guys that have played a lot of football. Obviously Travis being the youngest, but he played in a lot of big-time situations and produced. And so we got three guys, and then you add in Lin Jay, you know, a guy that we were very, very excited about in the recruiting process, and then he just, you know, he validated everything that we thought. So they got some work to do because we got to be a complete unit. You know, you can't just be very productive with the ball in your hands. And from last year's evaluation, that was an area where we need to improve without the football. But I think collectively we have a chance to be as good as anybody. But we got to go out and earn it every single day in practice, and then every Saturday that we suit up.
Going back to address the situation of a Feaster moving below Choice on the depth chart.
You know, it's just a situation of competition, and it's very, very close, and could have listed it as or, but I felt like obviously Feaster was a little bit hampered, you know, coming into camp with the knee, and I think he's back to where he needs to be right now. And in that meantime, you know, Choice took a lot of reps, and so that's just where we're going to start. And you know, a lot of people have put a lot of spotlight on that situation, and Choice was in a tough situation. You got a young guy in Travis that's very, very explosive. You got a very, very talented, you know, junior in Taven Feaster, and you're right there in the middle, kind of the forgotten guy. And he responded, and there's no doubt he's a leader in my room. And so when you look at the situation and we evaluate the depth chart, we tell guys all the time that the senior's going to get the nod. So it's more a situation of Adam has paid his dues, he produced in camp, and that's where we're going to start. And you know, that's going to go week to week, and it's going to go practice to practice. So that could change, you know, throughout the course of time, but that's where we're going to start.
Going back to the quarterback, so what's the plan with Trevor and how you're going to incorporate him into the game Saturday?
You know, that's a question for Coach Sweeney. Obviously, him and Coach Streeter spent a lot of time talking about that, and you know, I don't know what the set plan is. I know that he said that both guys are going to play, and managing that is a delicate situation. And so I'm just excited to see how it unfolds when we get to the game. I know that he said that obviously Kelly's going to be the starter, and Trevor has earned the right to play. So don't know what the breakdown is going to be. You know, I'm just preparing the plan, and whatever guy goes out there, that's what I'm going to work with.
Do you anticipate in Game 3 or Game 4 you might still be saying that both guys are going to play?
You know, that's a tough question, but the way that those guys have performed, you know, both of them as of right now, and you can't forget about Chase Bryce. Chase Bryce is a guy that's earned the right to play some as well. So I'm just excited to get out on the field and see how those guys perform. Obviously, you know, Kelly has played, you know, in front of our fans in our home stadium. He's played on the road. He's proven. Obviously, we know what Trevor is capable of with his track record in high school and what we've seen on our practice field. Same thing with Chase Bryce, led his team to a state championship. So the biggest thing is we got to get to the games, see how they perform in the game situation. Then we're going to take it week by week. We can't look ahead to week 3, week 4. Man, we got to focus on going 1-0 and beating Furman.
For those of us that don't get to watch practice, where is Kelly ahead of those other guys? We can come out and see a glimpse and see Trevor or Chase's arm talent, but where is Kelly ahead that keeps him ahead on the depth chart?
You know, I think for Kelly, it's just his confidence right now is at an all-time high. I mean, he's managing, you know, all the situations the way you want him to manage it, and then he's improved in the areas that we've asked him to improve in terms of the throws that we've asked him to make down the field. And again, in practice, it's a controlled environment, so you really can't see one of his greatest attributes, his ability to run. So right now, I'd say just his overall game management, his confidence, his leadership is the area where he leads those guys.
Tony, Furman was a playoff team last year, but really, you guys haven't lost to an FCS team in quite some time. What are the expectations for the offense on Saturday?
The expectation is to come out and look like how we practiced, and to be a team that can compete on our practice field against one of the best defenses in the country. Communication is of the utmost importance. Drive the tempo, just the things, you know, functioning in short yardage situations and being able to dictate the game. That's the expectation there. We're not worried about who's in front of us. We're worried about playing to the standard of Clemson, and that's going to be play fast, play physical, play hard, and then to go out and execute at a high level.
Tony, at quarterback, how much less separation was there this year with Kelly winning the job than a year ago when he won the job or I guess exiting camp?
Correct. I think this is a totally different situation in that Kelly at last year, you know, wasn't a proven guy. He hadn't even been into a full starter situation. So obviously there was a little bit more separation because he had been in the system longer than the guys that he was competing with. And then now Trevor being here in the spring and now going through camp, obviously with his abilities. So I think the competition is definitely a little bit closer this year than it was last year because the dynamics are different. Obviously you got a guy that's experienced, knows the expectation, and then you got a very, very talented young guy with some experience from the spring pushing.
Tony, Jackson Carman was named the backup at left tackle. Can you expand on that? And also, John Simpson's first year as a starter. Can you expand on him as well?
You know, Jackson Carman was a guy that I think everybody knew physically and from a talent standpoint was a guy that we were going to try and count on early on in his career. But just with Blake Vincent, you know, spending some time not being able to practice with his ankle, that gave Jackson an opportunity to get more reps. And then obviously he is really, you know, taking ownership of conditioning his body to be in position to play. So that's more a function of he got a lot of reps. Blake was a little bit limited, and so now rightfully so going into the game, knowing that Jackson's ready to go, he's listed there. But I anticipate that as we go forward, it's going to be a battle between him and Blake Vincent at that backup spot there. And then again, for us, the more tackles that you have available to play, the better off you are. And John Simpson, you know, I said this before, I think John Simpson is one of the most talented offensive linemen that we've had come through here physically in a long time, and now it's his turn to prove me right, so to speak. But you know, he's a guy that unbelievably athletic, very, very strong, doesn't even know how athletic and how strong he is. Now he's got to put it all together. When the bullets are flying, he has to be able to function out there, communicate with his center, with his left tackle. And so I'm expecting big things out of John. I think he's very, very capable, and I think he's in a place right now mentally where he's prepared to step in and give us not just quality reps, but give us reps that can win a championship.
Tony, is Travis a different guy this year?
A little bit. I'm still pushing him to fully mature, but I'm seeing a lot more ownership, and now I think he understands the expectation of being in that lead seat. I think everybody wants to be the starter until you're named the starter, and you have to go out and perform like a starter. It's a little bit different when you know that you're coming off the bench and so to speak, one of the other guys is going out there setting the tempo. So I'm seeing a little bit more maturity there. Still got to get him to the point to where every single day it's game day. There's some times where you know, he'll just be young. I mean, and again, he's just a sophomore. You know, he's just a sophomore. He's still transitioning from a system that was totally different in high school. So there's a lot for him to learn. But I am seeing, you know, that he's a lot more confident in his body. You know, he talks a lot more about his weight. You know, one thing he talks about is he's 202 and he's feeling stronger. But I just got to get him to the point that every day he understands, you know, what the expectation of the first guy is when you run out there.
How many teams would love to have T. Higgins, DeAndre Overton, and Justin Ross as the three on the depth chart at one spot?
I think everybody in the country would like that situation. But one, it's just a testament to where the program is recruiting wise. Jeff does an unbelievable job with developing those guys, and again, now you got to tip your hat to a guy that can have three guys with different classifications with separation that are all ready to play. So I'm excited to see those guys go to work. And so again, that's another area that competition has started to bring the best out of all those guys.
Is that what was behind Travion switching sides?
You know, biggest thing for Travion is I think Travion is just now coming to his own. You know, he's coming to his own just from a maturity standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, and he's a versatile guy. And he's been here in the system to where now, you know, he just gives you that added depth. He's a putty guy that can play every position, and then also too when he had his opportunity to push for starting reps, you know, you're trying to get the best guys on the field, and now he's put his name in the conversation for one of the best guys to be on the field, and so you're just trying to find spots to be able to get him on the field when you got so many talented guys.
When you look at this offense, what are the biggest unknowns as you head into the first game of the season?
The biggest unknowns, I think, the chemistry, because again, obviously some of the guys have been together, but you got some new guys in spots. You got a new starting tailback. Obviously, going into the first game, you got somebody new starting at tight end, new left guard, new right guard, so to speak. With Sean moving inside, hasn't played there, so there's still some questions about chemistry. Are we going to be able to come together the way we need to come together? Can we maintain the improvement in explosive plays that we saw this spring, which is something that we didn't do a good job of last year down the field. So those are some of the things. And then can we, pick up where we left off late in the season? We became a good short yardage team, being able to convert at a high rate. Can we come out the gate setting the tempo that when it's third and short that we're going to be able to go get it, whether we need to run it or throw it.
Coach, you ran more plays than total plays than any team in the country last year. I know tempo has been a big emphasis. In the past, you targeted 80 plays a game. It's very situational, but would you say that target's increased, maybe 85 plays a game?
No, we're still going with the same target of 80 plays, because obviously each game is going to be different. Obviously, we want to be able to drive the tempo, not so much to increase the snap count, but obviously to wear down defenses by playing fast. So I think that the increase in tempo is more so just for us to be able to control the game as opposed to extend the game by adding more snap count plays. But we still want to average about 80 a game.
When and how did y'all officially tell Kelly the news?
That was conversations between Coach Streeter and Coach Sweden. I'm not sure exactly when they had that sit-down conversation. And again, even when Deshaun was here, I stay in my lane. Obviously, I'm responsible for calling the plays, and I focus on the backs. And then obviously, I rely heavily on Coach Streeter and Coach Sweeney to handle the quarterback situation. So I'm not sure how they did it, when they did it, but I know they've had a good conversation, and everything was positive after they had this conversation.
Tony, tight end production last year dropped off a little bit. This year, with the addition of Braden Galloway and Garrett Williams coming off the injured list, do you see that production level raising again?
That's what we're hoping. We're hoping we're going to be able to be who we've been in the past, to be able to stretch the field with 11 personnel, both vertically and horizontally, and then be able to still maintain that point of attack, two-back run-oriented offense. And so obviously Braden is a guy that, he's a young guy, very, very talented. Still haven't seen him under the lights yet, so we got to get him to the point to where we can evaluate him in game-time situations. But we know he's very, very talented. And I said it before, and I'll stand by it again, that